Haywire. Back in the 80s, when I was a tweener and a teenager, most of the kids in my school and my friends listened to heavy metal: AC/DC, Kiss, Van Halen, Scorpions, Motley Crue, and hard rock, arena rock. Foreigner, Boston, Journey, Rush, John Cougar, Bryan Adams, things like that. Some others liked bands like Genesis and The Police. Those were acceptable enough to not get you pushed into a locker. Come high school, there was definitely some groups that listened to new wave, punk, and lighter pop like Cyndi Lauper in Chicago. However, by then, we were pretty much in our caste system, so a metal maniac and a rocker I continued to be. But that is not to say that I didn't have my guilty pleasures, like Eddie Money, Richard Marx, and Canadian bands like Honeymoon Suite and today's topic, Haywire. Specifically, one of my most played tapes, and probably most air-danced and air-sung to, was Bad Boys, released by Haywire in 1986. I was a high school senior with a major crush. Haywire was a Canadian band formed in 1981 in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, which is perhaps Canada's quaintest province. In 1984, they won a local homegrown contest and used the money to produce an EP in 1985. Then that year, they won the Labatt's Battle of the Bands and used that money to record even more material. They signed with Attic Records and released their first album, Bad Boys, in 1986, which went platinum in Canada with the title track becoming a top 40 hit. I had this cassette tape, and it was one of those that I never had to hit that two-button combination on my ghetto blaster to skip just that one song. I listened to them all. So the first song on the album that was actually Bad Bad Boy. The album is called Bad Boys, but the single was Bad Bad Boy, and that was sort of their first hit. It was very poppy. Actually, I liked it at the time, but then once I got the album, this wasn't necessarily a song that I enjoyed listening to that much. It was just maybe a little bit too catchy, too poppy, and kind of got annoying after a while. The second song on the album is Standing in Line, and to me that's much more along the lines of what I like. It has that sort of drive, that kick in at the beginning. Much better song. Listen, she don't know the drive and movies. Daddy wants her home on time. I wanna hold her all night long. I wanna make her mine. She's not the kind of girl. The third song, She's Not That Kind of Girl. She's Not That Kind of Girl. That one, again, it's very poppy. Most of their songs are boy loves girl, boy loves girl, girl doesn't know about it, boy lost girl, that sort of thing, which was fine for the time. The fourth song, Holding You, is the first true ballad. Really slow ballad, and it was like the obligatory ballad. It's okay, not the best song, but it was okay. Out of My Head. I never thought I miss you so. Never thought you'd go. I can't complain. I feel the same, but I still need you, and I can't get you out of my head. Finishes the first side of the cassette tape, and it's just filler, but it was up-tempo. Kind of reminds me a lot of a local Winnipeg band, went as The Pumps and then became Orphan. Reminds me very much of their music, which is a good thing. The sixth song, so that would be the start of the second side, was When You Fall Out of Love, and it's a lot like Out of My Head. Again, filler, but good high enough tempo song. I'm feeling stronger than a reputation, The seventh song, Three Wishes, along with Standing in Line, and then a later song on the album, Shot in the Dark, are probably my three favorite songs. Three Wishes, I mean, it's corny. The lyrics are very corny. Girl in Love, again, just another filler song. Shot in the Dark, number 9 on the album, is, potentially maybe my favorite song on the album. I mean, again, Standing in Line, Three Wishes, Shot in the Dark, She's Not That Kind of Girl. I mean, they would all be at the top. They're not that dissimilar that it would be like, oh, this one is much better for the mood I'm in. But it's again, it has that drive, that kick in, like where it starts and then kicks in after, and that. And then 10th song, Crazy, is just filler. But anyways, that's a rundown of that album. It's available on YouTube. I'll post links to it below. I highly recommend listening to it if you're a fan of the 80s pop. And you may not have heard this because, it was Canadian. I don't think it got playtime in the States. So after that album, which was released in 1986 and 1987, their follow-up album was Don't Just Stand There. Again, I bought the cassette tape for that. Dance Desire was the number 1 song, and I think it actually charted higher than any of their other songs, but I mean, it's okay. This album is not as good, not as deep. The other song, Black and Blue, is the third song on the album. Black and Blue is Color Love. It was an okay song. Not crazy about the message. Today's day and age, black and blue being the colors of love. I mean, it doesn't go over too well, right? And then the 10th song on the album, Thinking About the Years, is probably when it's held up the best. It's definitely a ballad, better ballad than on Bad Boys, Holding You, Thinking About the Years. So I would check that out. So if you're going to check out songs on the second album, I would check out Dance Desire or Thinking About the Years. And in 1990, they released Nut House. By then, I really wasn't paying attention to them. Short End of a Wishbone is a good song. Definitely, it's actually heavier than anything else, I think, from the first 2 albums. So Short End of a Wishbone, I would check out that song. And then their last last album as a band was Get Off in 1992. No real songs on there that really stood out to me. I've given it a listen a couple times. The last 2 albums there were more like I listened to once we got Napster. Remember Napster? And I could sort of download them all and listen to them. But no real great songs. So check out Bad Boys from Haywire, Canadian band. And that was a guilty pleasure.